Welcome back to another video episode, whatever the it's called, whatever you want to call it. My name is Rodney, and I'm an alcoholic. I'm kidding, I'm not. But I appreciate y'all being here, and let's just dive right into things because there's no point in the fluff. You know? Fluffing is for the adult industry, which is always mind-blowing that that's a job. That there's actually a fluffer. Imagine you want to get into the adult industry. Imagine you're a young lady. You want to get into the adult industry. You know, I'd assume that's a pretty big mental leap, right? Going from, I don't know, getting fingered under the bleachers your whole life to all of a sudden being like, oh, I might as well go strip for some money. Then realizing, I don't know, for some reason I feel like strippers make more money than corn chicks. But maybe not. I don't know. I guess once you step into the digital world now, I mean, that's why we don't have Hooters waitresses and strippers anymore, because they can just get naked on OnlyFans and really scale their business like real business women. You know, I think we need all you ladies to stop trying to be influencers. You know, stop trying to sell us. Stop taking your phone and taking a video of your boring day and be like, today I went to the spa. And then I had some cookies, and then here's where I went to the Starbucks, and I got these coffees, and I saw the cutest mug. So use my checkout coupon for 20%. You know, that's how women talk. But then in their video, they just got their butthole hanging. I'm here for it though. But I think y'all need to stop being trying to be these influencers, because we need strippers and waitresses, you know? Before you know it, I'm going to go into Hooters, or I'm going to go into Twin Peaks. It's just going to be some guy in a furry costume coming over, bringing me my crinkle fries, and then licking my napkin, and then pulling out an iPad and wanting a 40% tip, you know? I want to go to the sleazy restaurants and have a false hope that I could actually sleep with the waitress, you know? Or go to the strip club and be like, oh, yeah, she thinks I'm... Actually, I really don't even like strip clubs. I'm being funny. I could go the rest of my life without ever going to a strip club. Going to a strip club is the most pointless thing in the world, in my opinion. It's like, imagine not even being... So, this is how every time I've ever been to a strip club, it's gone like this. I've been out with my boys, and then we just massively strike out and be like, oh, let's go to the strip club. That'd be funny. And we go to the strip club, and then I get all horned up, and then I got to go home and say goodnight to everybody, and then close my door and do some things in private. Be like, oh, why did I spend $200 on some chick that's probably brewing up a new COVID strain under her garter belt? You know? One time I went to the script joint with some names that shall not be disclosed, but this dude came back out, and his shirt was like misbuttoned, his hair was all messed up, and he disappeared with this really fat stripper. And then he's like, bro, we gotta go. We gotta go. I'm like, what? He's like, bro, I'll explain later. Just, we gotta go. I'm like, okay. And then I see the chick. No. And then I was like, bro, what happened? He's like, bro, she just blew me in the bathroom and we got caught. And I was like, oh, Lord. But then I see her walking out, and then she went and sat on this Mexican guy's lap, and we just started dying laughing. Yeah. So I'm not into the script jump, you know? I'm not into script jump. I forget what I was originally talking about. Girls being influencers or something? I don't know, dude. Speaking of influencers, man. Everybody, I mean, the cool thing now is to trash Trump. And Trump's not perfect, you know, nobody is. But I think we need to really give props where it's due. Trump killed woke. No matter what he does going forward, no matter how annoying his antics may be, no matter how stupid he thinks his base is, he thinks they're just going to drop the Epstein list thing. No matter what Trump does at this point, he killed all the woke stuff. Just imagine for a second where we'd be at if Kamala would have won that election. Just imagine, like, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to post this video. Somebody would be like, oh, that would be great. But, you know, go f*** yourself. Yeah, like, I can't even imagine if we would have had 4 more years of what the hell was going on, you know? And it's really nice that the country came together and was like, you know what? We don't want all this censorship. I mean, I think that was the main issue, was all the censorship and all the woke garbage. Because most people didn't even really care about the policies. A lot of folks, including myself, think a lot of the deportation stuff is a little overboard. Even though I am extremely fatigued with, the cultural enrichment in this country. But I just don't think, I think they're going after some of the wrong people. I wish we would concentrate more law enforcement effort on just criminals, whether they're citizens or not. Personally, I think they should just really ramp up the drug charges for like synthetic designer drugs, like fentanyl and crack cocaine. Is that even whatever that is? Like crack and fentanyl. Like just give the dealers the penalty. Think about all the problems, all the gang wars, all the border crisis, all the everything comes back to these two things: fentanyl and crack. If there was no if people knew, like, oh, if I get busted with some fentanyl and crack, Big 45 is gonna, put me in front of a squad, we would have zero problems. We'd be living in paradise. We would stop having this like generational degradation of all the inner city communities because they're just plagued with crack cocaine, and we would stop having everybody just they think they're taking an ecstasy pill and they're swallowing a fentanyl because the Chinese are just smuggling it over the border via the cartels. Then the cartels would stop getting so much money to be able to human traffic and just wreak havoc on Mexico that all the people need to flee their beautiful country and even come here. I thought there was this one dumbass, though, this Mexican guy. He threw a brick at an ice truck. When I say an ice truck, I mean the police ice, not like the like the actual ICE agents. He threw a brick at the windshield, and then they went on a manhunt for him, and they found him in Mexico. So basically, he was protesting deportations, and then he ran away to Mexico. And I don't know, dude. You just can't make up this level of stupid. It's actually mind-blowing. And it's kind of funny, too, because Mexico's getting really sick of Americans coming down there. And I don't blame them, I think the world is just at a place where it's not a hateful thing for people to say that they want to live amongst their own people and amongst their own cultures. And not even cultures, just they want to live amongst people with their own values, I don't think that's a hateful thing. I think every group of people has the right to want to live in a society that reflects their values. It's just the only problem is with all the mass migration, a lot of people flee certain circumstances, then they go somewhere else, then they want to enforce their values on those people who are doing perfectly fine, i.e. us and third world shenanigans like Sharia law or whatever, Like I saw people are all up in arms because there's this group of white people, they're making this like compound. It's called the back to the promised land or something like that, somewhere in Arkansas, somewhere in the Ozarks. These white people got together and they're like, we're going to make a town where it's just whites only. And it's out in like bumfuck who knows where. And everybody's like losing their mind, but it's like, who cares what these hillbillies are doing? If they want to go live with their own people, so what? There's Muslim towns, there's LGBTQ nights, there's, black clubs, there's Italian social nights. There's every group of people has the right to want to congregate with their own kind and be engulfed in their own culture every once in a while, or if it's even just a settlement or whatever it is. So these fucking hillbillies, they have every right to go start a compound where they live how they want to live. And I don't know why people are up in arms about this. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I try to walk myself off the ledge constantly because I don't want to like fall into like full blown bigotry or whatever. But it's like today I was taking a shit at the gym, right? I was taking a shit at the gym and I forgot my phone in the car at this point. But I was like, okay, well, let me just go use the bathroom. And there's 3 stalls, right? One stall was a Hispanic guy blasting Hispanic music off his phone. And then in the middle stall was an Indian guy yelling on his phone in Indian. Is that what the language is called? And I'm just sitting there like, I just, like, these people have every right to do what they're doing, but I just don't want to be around it. I don't want to hear it. I want to be around quiet white people that mind their business, that eventually get mad that my grass is too long. And I say, oh, I apologize. Let me conform to the HOA rules, you know? Then I don't have to lock my door and shit. It's just exhausting, dude. It's exhausting that we have to bite our tongues and act like not everybody. It's becoming too expensive, right? It's becoming way too expensive to just get away from all these shenanigans. I don't know how, you know. It's like, I don't know how people afford it. I don't know how people afford getting away from all the crime and homelessness and third world shenanigans. I don't know how they do it. I did see something that Trump was trying to make some law that he's like banning homeless people, which I don't know how that works. You know, let's look into that. Tell me about Trump banning homeless people. I mean, as somebody who grew up in Seattle that moved to Texas from Seattle, that sounds like the greatest thing ever, because what they really should do is do forced treatment, right? Like I said, just off the dealers, just penalty for the dealers. So they have so they just have zero inclination to go out and sell this poison, which causes gang wars, which all it does is just cause violence and then destruction to the users. And then those users go out and steal. It's just like this domino effect, this butterfly effect of just crime and degeneracy, you know, with these drugs. And it's like, we need to really, really punish the dealers and force the users into treatment, or just, you know, put them all on a train and send them to a camp where they can learn and have to concentrate hard. On July, blah, 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 President Trump signed an executive order aimed at addressing homelessness in the United States titled Ending Vagrancy and Restoring Order. These are always such Trump terms, you know, like the big, beautiful bill. The order doesn't explicitly ban homeless people, but seeks to make it easier for cities and states to remove homeless individuals from public spaces and direct them into treatment or institutional settings. I mean, what is wrong with that, you know? What, we're just supposed to look at some guy just running around just with rabies, you know, bent over. You guys have seen it. You know what I'm talking about? Some guy with like a raccoon on his shoulder on some child's bike. I'm sick of seeing it. Starting a fire. Clearing encampments. The order directs Attorney Pam Bondi to reverse judicial precedents and end decrees that limit state and local government's ability to clear homeless encampments and relocate individuals deemed at risk. It's crazy, because if I go to a campsite, right? If I go to a camp, or if I go to a campsite and I don't buy the campsite, I get fined or whatever, right? Or if I just go downtown, and if I just set up a tent on a random sidewalk, can I do that? Or do I have to be like, no, sorry, officer, I'm shooting heroin. It's okay. Like, how's that even a thing, you know? Prioritizing treatment. It's just federal funding away from housing first policies. Yeah, because they destroy everything. That you got to get them clean. If you don't get them clean, it doesn't matter. You give them millions of dollars, they're just going to fucking destroy it. Which prioritize provide housing before treatment. This is common sense approach so far. Funding reallocation. Funding grants from agencies like the Department of Housing and Urban Developments, Health and Human Services, and Transportation will prioritize cities and states that enforce bans on urban camping, loitering, and open illicit drug. It also cuts funding for harm reduction programs like drug injection sites. Yeah, like what the hell is a drug injection site? That makes no sense. It's like, I don't know, man. People that think that their enabling behavior is a loving approach are just stupid. They're just dumb. It doesn't work. You got to take somewhat of a common sense approach and try to end things. You can't just keep pouring gasoline on the fire and be like, oh, with love, all will be conquered. No, shut the fuck up. Go make a sandwich. And let the people with some common sense handle this, you know? Think about the best teachers you've ever had. It wasn't the ones that let you walk all over them. It was the ones that told you, hey, dumbass, buckle down, do your homework, behave. Those were the best teachers you've ever had. Like, you need some tough love in your life, and a lot of people have never had any tough love, and that's why they get it from the cops or whatever. But then when we get all these social programs and stuff like that, just keep throwing money and drugs at these people. Like, they have no motivation to go get clean. Why would they? You know. Involuntary commitment. The order encourages policies that facilitate longer-term hospitalizations or institutionalization for homeless individuals with mental health issues or substance use disorders, citing public safety concerns. Yeah, what's wrong with that? We're all just supposed to act like, oh no, this is beautiful, seeing the freaking mentally ill Somalian on fentanyl running around with the machete. No, let's keep doing that. This is the humane approach. You would think once these people then sober up, they'll be thankful, you know? If I ever trip and fall on a fentanyl needle and I get hooked and I get strung out and I start acting like the guy with the raccoon on my shoulder on a skateboard, please put me in a fucking straitjacket and sober me the fuck up. I will buy you flowers and thank you for it. Recipients of federal homelessness funding must collect health-related data from individuals and share it with law enforcement when legally permitted to ensure appropriate medical care. Okay. The order cites a record high 2,700,000 blah, blah, blah individuals living in the streets a single night in the last year of previous administration, with nearly 2/3 reporting drug use or mental health conditions. I mean, this should be the number one priority. Not sending money to Ukraine, not sending money to Israel, not sending humanitarian aid to Afghanistan or Africa, AIDS, whatnot. Fuck all these people. Tell them to take care of themselves. We need to take care of this shit at home. It is right at our doorstep. There is an epidemic. Some people going through some terrible things right on our doorsteps, whether it's addiction or they just got pushed out because they can't afford rent, medical issues. You know, people drowning in medical debt. All of a sudden, the doctor puts them on some opioids. Now they're drowning in debt. They're hooked on opiates. They can't get any more opiates because the prescription ran out. Now they go to the streets for heroin. Now they do heroin a couple times, and now the city's giving them free needles to keep that going. And instead of like helping these people out by sobering them the fuck up, and then devoting money towards teaching these people some sort of skills or something with life, we just like, oh no human is illegal. We'll just keep letting these bums sleep around everywhere and shoot up heroin and steal bikes to pay for it. This should be the number one priority, you know? Trump can't clearing homeless encampments, particularly and they're just so bad for the environment. You ever walk through one of these homeless encampments? There's just garbage and feces everywhere, you know? It's like they just destroy everything they touch, polluting the waterways. It's crazy, dude. I lived in Green Lake in Seattle, and I used to just go walk the park. You know, sometimes I'd smoke a little weed, and I'd go walk around the lake listening to podcasts and stuff. Once like 2020 hit, I stopped doing that because I didn't feel safe anymore. Because I didn't feel like I could not have my full attention, you know? I used to go down there to like unwind and turn my brain off and like listen to music or listen to podcasts or something, see some water, be around the greenery. Now I'm on full alert because I think I'm going to get jumped, you know? And I'm not going like, oh, boo-hoo, poor me. These people have bigger problems. Sure, they do, but it's like, I'm sorry you have bigger problems, but now your problems are becoming my problems, and I'm paying taxes, and I'm going to work, and I'm doing all this bullshit to try to be a law-abiding citizen, and I got to stare at all this squalor constantly, you know? It's not fair. I guess life isn't fair. I wonder where they're going to put all these people, though. Over 100 cities have strengthened camping bans since the Supreme Court ruling, and the order may pressure more to follow suit to secure federal funding. This could lead to more arrests or fines for homeless individuals. Well, don't fine them. That's some Jewery right there. We're not going to do that. It's like when you get charged overdraft fees for not having money. Like, how are you going to fine somebody for being homeless, you know? Fucking arrest them, throw them in a mental thing, sober them up, and then have some sort of program like a workforce thing. Like, you know how in prison they have to have a job or something? They're like, oh, go do the kitchen thing or whatever. When they pull these homeless people off the street, have like have like 50 different entry level career option training things available to them, you know? I don't know, man. It's just like criminalizing poverty. Probably not the best bet, but what else do we want to talk about? We're already at 20 minutes. Damn, that flew by. Anyways, I guess one last thing I want to see, I keep seeing this TikTok trend of fathers or mothers too, I think just parents in general. It'll have the slide of their kid now, like it being a teenager, being like, calls me bruh, thinks I'm cringe, doesn't want to talk to me. Then you swipe over and it says, but there was a time, and it just shows them and like their little kid being adorable, whatever. Look, you parents all seem like great parents. I'm gonna be honest, because whenever they post these things, these parents, especially like, but I want to say especially the fathers, maybe because that's just what I'm more drawn to. But and even the mothers, like I told this one chick, like, Mama, don't worry, we always come back. You could tell her kid was kind of going through like his little being a punk phase in their teens. But it's like the kids need to go out and, you know, be degenerates a little bit, but then we always come back to mom. We always come back to mom. We always come back to dad, as long as you're a good parent. But with that, right? You parents, you seem like great parents. Y'all need to just keep fucking, dude. Just keep having more kids. Because us Americans, we are getting out banged. These migrants and stuff are coming here, and they are getting their on, dude. So you guys need to step it up. We all need to step it up. We all need to have way more kids. What we need to do is stop sending all the money out of the country, start bringing back American manufacturing, ban foreigners, like when I say foreigners, I mean foreign real estate investors who don't even live here, and big corporations from buying up all the single family homes. Bring inflation down so people can actually support families with their incomes. And us Americans need to get to fucking and having more kids, so I can stop seeing all these depressing TikToks, people being like, oh, my kids don't want to hang out with me anymore, but I promise you, don't worry, they will come back. And that's how we're going to wrap this up. I'll see y'all later. Please like and subscribe. Adios. All right, we did that.